Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our latest reaction to Tuesday night's The Voice. This is the second part of the premiere event, and I feel like this episode had just more memorable auditions than the first one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there was this big block in the first episode that I've kind of already forgotten about. And
except for Todd Michael Hall.
That
audition, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Nobody's forgetting Todd Michael Hall. Nobody's forgetting Joanna. There were some good people in the premiere, but I feel like in episode 2, we got a number of at least memorable people. I think there's a couple in here that could be contenders. We'll go through and discuss Arei Moon. We'll talk a little bit about Toneisha Harris and also Levi Watkins. But before we get into any of this, if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates that we've got coming up your way. Let's start, though, with Levi, because I have a pretty serious bone to pick with the NBC YouTube team on this. You don't need to put a card up on the thumbnail for his audition being like, he's only 14. You guys make way too big of a deal all the time with how old people are. And I know that I talked about Todd Michael Hall's age in the last video, but still, it's sort of just like he's just a singer. He's competing against everyone else.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he is a young guy, so I get why they want to be like, look at all this talent. He's so young. So can you imagine him 5 years from now, 3 years from now? Like, what is he going to be at that time kind of thing? Let's watch him grow as a performer, which is something that, we even watched with the Jonas Brothers. We watched them grow up and be performers and see how good they got over the years. So I get why they want to focus in on that. But Levi doesn't need that. He does have the talent. He gave a good audition. He was able to not just sing but also play, which is pretty cool. I mean, the 14.
Yeah.
I don't need it. He stands on his own.
I just find it, if I went up there and did an audition, nobody's going to be like, you're only 33. I don't think, and then I feel like if you're like...
That's because you're an old poot like me.
Well, I just think, there's enough other stuff to focus on with Levi. I think he does have a nice voice. I think he's got a kind of just a nice natural sort of musicality about him where he seems to understand where the notes go and how to carry through a song. I like his song choice, Hey Soul Sister. I felt like it played like every 10 minutes, maybe back when it was first on, kind of like every train song does, and I haven't heard it in about a year.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard that song too, so I was like, oh yeah, man, I used to really like this song.
Yeah, but it's a fun song. I don't need Levi to go out there and start off with something that's just like really sad and drippy. This sort of gives us a sense of who he is, how he performs, and also Blake Shelton, super genius Blake Shelton here, who I could hear that Levi had a pretty young voice, even if I wasn't watching him perform. I am probably thinking, if I'm Blake, this is an opportunity. He's going to have a lot of fans. I'm going to have a lot of my fans because of the country army.
Yeah.
We're going to make this happen. I think it's pretty clear right now that if Levi makes it to the live shows, watch out.
Yeah, Levi could really steamroll everybody. I mean, he is a young guy. He's got a great voice. He's got Blake as a coach. He has the makings of a win. Yeah,
and this was a very good night for Blake overall, but I think Levi he's going to be, I think, probably a little bit of a dark horse contender, but I do think if he makes it to the live show, he's going to be dangerous. It's just so weird, like, picturing Levi maybe in a battle against, like, somebody who's, like, the complete opposite of him as a singer. That's why I hate the battles. But anyway.
Yeah, the battles will be interesting, especially if he's up against someone like Toneisha Harris, who's just beautiful voice. Whoa, there was no surprise that everybody wanted a piece of her. Her voice is a powerhouse, just gorgeous. And every time we get voices like this on the show, I get very, very excited about this. And then she sang Foreigner, which was also really cool because we had Todd Michael Hall also sing Foreigner, who is one of my favorites already of this competition. And it's a Foreigner season, and I'm kind of living for it.
I kind of talked yesterday about how I wanted Todd to do I Want to Know What Love Is, and now I don't think I'm going to get that because it was kind of burned tonight, but
Yeah, she just killed that performance. It was so good. Like, he does not need to come and try to do anything with this now. Tanisha already has that under lock.
This was probably the best vocal of the night. I think she has a lot of power. I like that she did sort of a rock song and kind of made it into something that felt like it was hers. And she had a couple little runs. I feel like Toneisha can still do probably about 100 different things that we didn't hear in this performance. I like that because I don't need every single performance to be like, oh, I can hit this note and I can do this run and I can sing this loud. It's like you don't need everything in the kitchen sink in every single performance.
Yeah, and it gives something to look forward to going forward with her so that she can continue to raise the bar further and further in every performance. Don't give us everything all at once.
Yeah.
Make us want more. And I'm here for it. I do want more.
I definitely want Toneisha to make it a lot further, and I do think that Toneisha is going to make it a lot further.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would create any argument in the world otherwise here. All right, so Arei Moon is the last person we'll talk about in this video, and you know, there's so much just fun that comes out of all this, but I'm not always the biggest Coach Hijinks fan, but the visual, and I watched this at least a few times, of Kelly Clarkson. At first she gets so excited, oh, someone's singing Miss Independent, she's singing it really well, she's
doing the tour version of it, is what Kelly said. She was like, oh man, this is even more awesome because you're doing the tour version of my song.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that this is someone who is a big Kelly Clarkson fan, who prepared a lot for this. Kelly's just sitting there grooving, getting into it, and about like 10 seconds before the end of when she just gets up to try to make her pitch, you can see that's what she was trying to do. She just looks down, and then she spends the entire final part of this just screaming at Nick Jonas and being like, how could you?
This was one of the best blockings. It was so funny. And I mean, it's not funny for Kelly, but it was funny for me watching it. I mean, it was just, woo!
Yeah, I'm not always like super into the blocks because I don't need the voice to make it more about the coaches when it's supposed to be about the singers, but it was just so funny, and Arei was she was such a good sport about it too, sort of laughing along after the fact.
Oh, she was such a good sport about it, especially since with her doing Miss Independent, so she's doing a Kelly song, she's doing the tour version of it, so she's a fan, and now she can't work with Kelly. It was all kinds of, that could have gone another way.
Here's the great news. She's got a really, really good voice.
Yep.
I think the fact that she did the tour version, she has a lot of artistry. She's obviously paying really, really close attention. It seems like she works really, really hard, so that's all going to be an advantage in her favor.
Yeah.
Also, Nick Jonas, nothing to slouch about here. Nick Jonas is, I think, so musically gifted and sort of just underrated as kind of just on what he knows about musical theory and all this, that I think he's going to pick some really fun songs for her. He's going to find some ways to sort of twist and augment her voice. And the other thing to remember is there's always the possibility of steals.
Yes. I was going to say, there's always the steals. So, I mean, she could end up back there.
The funniest thing to me is that I believe that Kelly Clarkson will probably hold on to her steal in the battles for as long as humanly possible.
Yes.
And I think the moment she gets a chance to get Arei on her team, she's probably going to do so. I just feel like, in general, when you look at The Voice through these first two episodes, I think we can agree that the talent level seems to be there. There are some forgettable people, but there are some that I think are legitimately really good and can do some cool stuff moving forward.
Yeah, and I do like that there are some people on the show so far this season that they're standouts because I would have never expected them to be on The Voice. And I know we keep going back to Todd Michael Hall as my example, but how did this end up happening? This guy has got this really incredible voice, crazy range. He's singing Foreigner, which now I've seen twice, and he's completely rock and roll. And this show is not really any of those things. And then he got 2 chairs to turn around for him, which is absolutely should have happened. And I'm so excited to see something different happening on this show.
I think I want to push it even further to me. Like, I want to see something in the auditions moving forward that actually, like, legitimately, like breaks down all of my walls as a viewer. And I mean, I don't always want to get emotional, but I think we need some more big emotional moments on The Voice, because it does have sort of that like factory feel sometimes where you're watching people go on a conveyor belt and pick their coach and get off. I think we need a little bit more rawness. Maybe that will come in the rest of these audition shows.
Yeah, I also just need a little, I never thought I'd say this, but I need a little more story on who I'm actually watching going forward. And that's something that I appreciate from Idol, and Idol does go sometimes a little too far into the stories and not enough into the singing. And on this show, I've got way more into the singing, a little bit less on the stories, but I do want to get to know people and get more invested in them and not just purely on The Voice.
Yeah, balance makes the world go round.
Balance, yeah.
All right, well, what did you guys think about the latest episode of The Voice? Who was your favorite? Share in the comments, and if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.